afternoon, everyone. This will be my video lecture in CVN, Chameleon Values and Norms. Today is November 23, 2022. It's Wednesday afternoon. And before I continue my lecture on chapter 4 of your book, so there are a few reminders that I'd like you to know. So the first is this Friday, that's November 25, 2022, will be the elimination and semi-final round of the Pangasinan Singing Idol. No, that's Friday, and it is scheduled to be held at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, as part of my team in NSTP and CVN, I'd like you to attend the said program because we'll be assigning you your respective duties and responsibilities. And for the group leaders, please coordinate with Ramil, because he will be giving you your assignment during the program. So again, I am reminding you that the elimination and semi-final round of the Pangasinan Singing Idol will be this Friday, November 25, 2022 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and each one of you should be present. Each one of you shall be present, and the group leaders, please coordinate your respective assignments to the meal. Secondly, we are fast approaching the holding of the pre-pageant of Miss Galite Camillana, which happens on November 30th. That's a Wednesday. That's also a holiday. Again, as part of my NSTP team, you are required to attend the said program because you will be given again your assignment in NSTP. I will be discussing to you what are the requirements for your midterm. I may not be giving you your midterm examination, but your attendance to the different programs that we'll have will be the one that will be my basis in giving you your grade for the midterm examination. Okay? In NSTP 1. So let me proceed with Unit 4. Unit 4 of your book, we are almost through with Unit 4. So once we finish Unit 4 or Chapter 4 of the book, we will proceed immediately to Unit 5 or Chapter 5 of your module. Okay, so Unit 5 will now be discussed starting next week. Okay, so to continue my lecture on chameleon values and norms, we have studied before the chameleon charism. We have studied before the chameleon charism, and when we talk of charism, we talk about the graces or the gifts bestowed upon us as part of a chameleon institution. So when we talk of charism, we are talking about graces and gifts, and there are 3 gifts that I mentioned before. The gift or the grace of what? Knowledge, and the gift or grace of what we call love, and of course service. Again, this will comprise what we call chameleon charism. Knowledge, the translation of this in Latin would be scientia, and for love would be amor, and for service, of course, servitium. Servitium. It is discussed in your book, all the 6: scientia, amor, y servitium. Okay, clear? And if you will notice the emblem or the symbol, I would say the emblem is the symbol. We talked about the emblem or the symbol of the chameleons. or you will say the logo, no, in short, the logo. So what do you notice there in our logo, no? In our logo, it's oblong type. Then we have the rays of the sun here. And what goes on? What is the leading figure in the middle? Of course, the leading figure would be a red cross. That is the symbol of the chameleons. And of course, for this, when we talk of the red cross, I will be discussing later on why is it that the cross is red, no? What makes it different from all other crosses, no? For the chameleons, of course, this will be the distinctive mark of a chameleon, no? The red cross, engulfed or what's this? Surrounded by the rays of the sun. This one is color yellow, no? To symbolize the sun. This one is the red, no? So if you will notice, as I told you, of course, the leading figure in the emblem or the symbol would be the cross. And when we speak of the cross, what comes to your mind? No? What comes to your mind when we talk of the cross? Of course, what comes to our mind would be Jesus. Diba? He loved us so much, that's why He sacrificed Himself to suffer and to die on the cross. Correct? So here it talks about Jesus having died and sacrificed, no? For us all, no? He sacrificed His life for the love of us, no? For the love, no? Love. And of course, He also served, no? Service. So if you will notice, all the three gifts that we are given, it's all engulfed or it's all incorporated in the emblem of the chameleons, which is the cross. Diba? So in short, when we talk of knowledge, no? When we talk of knowledge, we have to put our gaze, no? We have to put our gaze, a gaze is our look, no? We have to put our gaze first, where? No? To the vertical axis. Of course, and this one, the top would represent God, no? Before we look into our environment, this one for our neighbor, or our environment, no? So, in short, the first thing that we have to know would be knowing Him and seeking Him, the kingdom of God first and foremost. And this one symbolizes the vertical axis, no, of the cross. And the horizontal would be, of course, knowing our neighbor or our environment. Similarly, when we talk about the gift of love, of course, we have to love God first with all our heart, with all our mind and soul. No? So that will also be represented by, and of course, serving God first. No? Represented by the vertical axis before serving our fellow men. So here, the motto of the chameleons is loving by serving. So serving or service, the act of service, is a manifestation of our love to our God and to our fellow men. Love God first, vertical, and love our fellow men will of course be represented by the horizontal axis. So it's a very beautiful symbol, but it has a deep meaning. No, it has a deep meaning. So let us go to this symbol. I told you the color of this is color red. Why do you think that the cross of the chameleons, the color that they have chosen is the color red? Well, what comes to your mind when we talk of the color red? Diba? Color red. This one is color red. That is the leading figure in the chameleon emblem or logo. No? what comes to your mind if we talk of red? No, of course, when we talk of red, we talk about martyrdom. No, you are a martyr. No, you are martyr because you are a hero. You died for something that is very what life changing to everyone. So martyrdom would come to your mind. You died as a hero. What else? Now we talk about the red. We talk about when we talk of the color red, we talk about passion. No, we talk about, of course, martyrdom would pertain to blood. No, to the blood. You you sacrifice your blood for something that is very worthwhile to mankind. No, so passion and also fire. No, it symbolizes fire. It symbolizes passion. It symbolizes fire. So do not forget that this red cross, the reason why it is color red, is for you to become a hero. You have to sacrifice your blood. You have to sacrifice your life in order that you will be serving others for the good of mankind. No, you are considered a hero. And of course, never forget that when you serve, that has to continue with passion and with fire. So remember this, when the color red is being referred to, we talk about martyrdom. No, martyrdom because you will be a hero who has done something great for mankind, and that passion or that selfless sacrifice should remain in you until the end of time. No, so you sacrifice your life, you sacrifice your blood for the sake of mankind. Okay? So that is the symbol of the chameleons. Now, may I refer you to what we call the MVO. And of course, the C would refer to the core values. So when we talk of MVO, no? And then the C would be the core values of the chameleons, of all of us. So we talk about mission, the mission statement, now the vision statement, and of course the objectives of our institution. So let's talk about the mission statement first. When we talk of a mission statement, what do we mean? One, when we talk of our mission statement, what do we mean by that? No? Mission statement would pertain to, it is a statement that says our reason for being. Reason, why do we exist? No? As an institution, our reason for being. Why we exist as an institution. No? So remember this, the mission statement would encapsulate or would tell you the reason for being, why the institution exists in the first place. So here, our mission statement is to transform, no? Of course, you have this in your book, to transform the Filipino youth as what? As model leaders. So remember that, as model leaders. So we are training you to become leaders. As model leaders, how? Through education of what? Of the heart, mind, and soul. So I hope that you have memorized this, the mission statement of St. Camilla's College Sumanawag. Remember that we are not only forming you to become learners, but leaders, no? Leaders. Through how? Education of the heart, mind, and soul. So this education is what we call holistic form of education. It's holistic, meaning we are not only focusing about the emotion of the learner, but even intellectually and spiritually. Okay? Now we go to the what we call the vision statement. When we talk of the vision statement, no? Vision. This time it's a vision statement. Vision. So what do you understand by vision? Well, when we talk of vision, we of course talk about the future, no? What will happen, no? What will happen? Or in short, when we talk of the vision statement of an institution, we are talking about where we would like to be. We would like to be. How long? Well, perhaps in the longer term, no? Where we would like to be in, say for instance, 5 years, no? 10 years, or longer. Now remember this. When we talk of the vision statement, we are talking about the future, what will happen to us as an institution, and where we would like to be, say for instance, 5 years, 10 years, or longer. No? So that's the vision statement. So let us analyze the vision statement of SCCM. So the vision statement is to be the most dynamic. What do you understand by the word dynamic? Well, it's always changing, no? Dynamic, to be the most dynamic and forward, no? We do not want our institution to be static, no? Forward looking institution, no? So this one, of course, it's a vision statement. This is what we want to be sometime, no? To be the most dynamic and forward-looking institution in Northern Luzon. What? That aims to pursue academic excellence. For what? Academic excellence for global competitiveness. Okay? For global competitiveness. So this one is our vision statement. If you will notice, dynamic would be, we are always changing. So we adapt to the changing times. It's dynamic and forward-looking. Of course, we want to be, of course, we see the trends, no? We see the trends. We are not static at all, no? And what is the purpose of all of this? Of course, to pursue academic excellence for global competitiveness. Okay, we go to the O. The O would be the objectives. When we talk of the objectives, of course, we talk about the I serve philosophy, no? Objectives. So what are we trying to attain to our learners? Or what do we want our learners to attain, rather? So we would like to have this I serve encapsulated as our objectives, no? I would stand for intellectual. So of course, being an educational institution, we are after the intellectual growth of our students, no? Serve. This one S would be service oriented, no? Coming from one of the gifts given to us. E would be what? Service oriented, emotional growth. So we talk about emotional growth. Then R would be resilience from adversities. Next would be values. Of course, it is very important that there should be values formation always, because it's an educational institution. And E would be empathy. Empathy is makiisa ka. Empathy is for service, no? So this is what we have as our objectives. We all want our learners to attain intellectual growth because we are an educational institution. Of course, your orientation should always be service, no? Service oriented. And of course, not only intellect that we would develop, it's not only our intellect but even our emotions, no? Our heart. This one is for the mind. And resilience for adversities. Of course, we need to be strong, no? We We need to bounce back to our original self despite the difficulties. Values formation, of course, we want to develop our spirit for our spiritual growth. Then empathy for service, of course, this is one of the gifts or graces given to us. Okay, objectives. And then finally, we have the core values. No? The core values of the chameleons. No? And it is also reduced into what we call an acronym meaning skillful. No? Skillful. So these are the core values. No? Of course, this one again is service. Yes, service oriented. No? This one, knowledge driven. Knowledge driven. So this one, innovative. This one is love centered. Leading by example. No? Leading, because we want to develop you as leaders. Leading by example. No? And then F would be forward looking. Then U would be unwavering loyalty. We want your loyalty. No, you have to be loyal to the institution that nurtured you. And of course, finally, spiritually living for God. No? So these are the values that we want to inculcate from, we want to inculcate to each one of you being learners of this institution. I think I have discussed a lot for today. So your assignment, you continue reading the behavioral norms of every chameleon and also the life and works of Saint Camillus. And we are through with Unit 4. Now, you take this down as your assignment. Okay, this one will now be assignment number 5, no? As I have seen it in my notebook. So your assignment number 5 would be, you have to summarize, no, in 3 paragraphs, the life and works of Saint Camillus. So I'd like you to first read the life and works of Saint Camillus. You read it first and then you summarize in 3 paragraphs. Okay? Number 2. Number 2 would be, what do we mean by conversion of Saint Camillus? When we say conversion of Saint Camillus, what is the meaning of that? No? Conversion of Saint Camillus. And when did this happen? No, I repeat, number 2 would be, what do we mean by conversion of Saint Camillus? And when did this happen? Number 3, of course, is, why is Saint Camillus called the saint of our times? No? Why is Saint Camillus, this is number 3, the saint of our times? Okay, I think that is all for today. Good afternoon, everyone.